More and more people have come to appreciate the importance of teaching morphology and see the value in the structured word inquiry practices. But they often question whether this belongs in the classrooms with our youngest learners. And if it does, what does that look like? I have the great fortune of working with many wonderful teachers and seeing how this work can be done in the classroom with our youngest learners. So I'm going to share with you just a few activities that I've seen teachers do very successfully with even young learners. So this first activity is really popular with kindergarten teachers. It can be done in any classroom with minimal materials and even before students are reading. And it involves introduction of suffix S and one of its jobs. So the teacher can ask the students to go around the class and choose 2 of the same objects and bring them to the carpet. So this little boy brought trucks. Teacher can say, hold up one of your objects. What did you bring to the carpet? And the student could say, truck. They can feel in their mouth, truck. They could do their phoneme fingers, truck. And feel at the end, they have a k. Now, if you have 2 of those, what do you have now? Trucks. What have you changed in that word? Truck, trucks. We've added a s to that. So now, if we have more than one truck, we add s orally, and if we were going to write that, or we wanted to read that word, we would add something called a suffix s. So we could talk about how to form that letter s. The students could have a little stick. They could write their own, or the teacher could give them some. And they can learn that that suffix s, when it's added to a word, not just adds a pronunciation, but also changes the meaning of that word. So now we have that s that marks the word as being a plural. And for pronunciation in this word, it represents s. Now if we take away one of the trucks, we now just are back to truck. Now a student might bring to the carpet a mug, and they can say mug, pronounce mug. Well, what if I have 2? I have mugs. So, since I have more than one, I add my suffix s. So if I was going to read or write that word, what would I expect to see? I would expect to see a suffix s at the end. In this word mugs, what do you feel? Mugs. Oh, instead of a s, I feel a z. So I still represent it with the suffix s, but its pronunciation has changed. So here's a teacher with her JK-SK class.
Hi, kid. CFD. And there's our base. What are we going to do? There's our base.
So she's modeling base.
Suffix s. And that tells us that there's more than one kid in here. Good morning, kids.
So her students are much less likely to make this very common error that you see with young students as they start to write things and they learn about sounds and letters or phonemes and graphemes, and they typically will learn that z is represented by z, and so that's what they do in their writing. But if we can teach them that, they can say dog and dogs, and they know that that means more than one, then they can start to use that suffix s before. Then students can bring other things like hats, and notice that that s in hats. Shoes has a z. Oh, we have box. And when we have more than one box, if we just add that suffix s, box, ooh, that's not how I pronounce box, is it? Or box, more than one box. And it's not box, box. What happens when I have more than one? I say boxes, boxes. I add another vowel. And when I have a vowel, or when I have a spoken syllable, so if I say box is 1 syllable, boxes is 2 syllables, I've added a syllable. And when I have a syllable in English, I expect to see a written vowel letter. So instead of a suffix s, we have another suffix, es. And so that es suffix allows us to produce another syllable. And so when we need it, we can use that suffix es. And students can go and look in books. They can look for those letter s's or es's at the ends. and they can use their little sticks. And so they start to learn about what to look for when they do start reading. So here's the teacher again, and she's now going to teach about not suffix, just S's for plural, but that suffix S.
So we know lots about suffix S, don't we? We know if I say there's two boys and we put the suffix S on the end, that means...
So I'm not going to show you the whole video because it's kind of long, but she reviews what they already know about suffix S. They can add suffix S to a noun to make plural. They can also add suffix S to a verb. And now she's introducing the idea that there's another type of suffix S. And she has little cards for them, and she's introducing this new concept.
We're going to need these. The suffix S. But look, what do you notice is different about this suffix S? What is it red? Well, sometimes we use them red, but what else do you see on it? A black mark. It's called an apostrophe. It's called an apostrophe. So I'm going to put those down there, but you don't need to touch them yet. So, all of these things are for Alan, and all of these things are for John. So this is what we're going to do. I'm going to say, whose red pterodactyl is this?
John.
So you're going to take your suffix S and you're going to put it right after John's name. So you're going to put it right there. Can you do it too? And put it after. So hang on, whose red pterodactyl is this?
John.
So that's right. So now it says John's. It means this pterodactyl belongs on John's paper. It belongs there. I'm going to say, whose green turtle is this? Arian's. So make it say Arian's.
So the teacher goes through and gives them many opportunities to practice that. And then she gives them words to read on cards that have that, and they discuss what that would mean. And then she moves on and also gives them the opportunity to read phrases, and she discusses phrases and sentences. And she has many opportunities for them to apply what they've learned. And then at the end, they read a little book. And she also will do read-alouds with the class, so enabling them to see that concept applied in words that they couldn't read, books that they couldn't read independently. This is another example about how you can embed and teach these kind of concepts, not just in a separate literacy block, but you can embed it throughout your curriculum, because every subject area we're reading and writing. So this class was studying metamorphosis, so we've done some work on that, but then we also looked at a little word. So when I'm looking at new words, sometimes I look at little words and I learn a lot from a little word. Metamorphosis is a giant word, but egg is a small word. But how many letters does egg need at least? Why does it need 3 letters at least? It's a
Noun.
It's a noun, and noun is one of our, everybody say, content words. It carries lots of meaning in our sentences. So what happens? We have an egg, but does a butterfly only lay 1 egg?
No. Eggs.
So what did we need to add to egg?
S.
And what kind of S is that? Suffix S. So suffix S can tell us something is
More
than 1. That's right. And here are just a couple examples of a teacher center. This teacher had put out some words with suffix ed that they'd been learning about. And so the students were asked to find the base, and they put like a little stick underneath, and then they covered up their suffix. And in this one, this little girl, they had been working on putting the elements, the prefixes and the suffixes, in a matrix, and then doing some word sums. And then they were doing some practice with reading sentences that had this. So tell me what you're doing.
Yeah, I'm all finished.
Okay, what did you do?
I did suffix ed. I circled it red. It's because it's a prefix. I mean, it's a suffix.
Yeah.
And I circled the u and green, it's because it's a prefix.
Excellent. And what's your base?
My base is long.
And can you spell it?
L-O-C-K.
I love how you did the CK nice and quickly together. Good. So now we're going to get a new matrix, and you can start your new one. Can you find the new base?
This is my new one.
That's your. So there are lots of other activities I'd love to share with you, but I know we don't have any more time. So I hope this has given you a few ideas of how you could implement some of the SWI practices in classrooms with young students. If you'd like more information, you can always contact me at my website, Funlearning.ca, and I'd love to connect with you. Thanks.